Hello guys, I'm Ivan Fedorenko and today we talk about the most important part of any company's business, their customers. Yeah, the ones who give up their money, their time, effort in exchange for the value provided by companies, goods and services. It's pretty common for us marketers to say that any business should be consumer oriented and put the consumer's needs and wants first. But what exactly does this mean and how we go about it? Notice there is a difference between the words we use. Sometimes we talk about buyers, and sometimes we use interchangeably words like consumers or customers. The difference is that buyers are people who make purchase, who buy things. While there is a little more to it when we talk about consumers, because consumers do not only buy things, but they also use them. They extract value from goods and services. Sometimes the person who buys something is not the same person who uses it. For example, when we buy gifts for others. And customers is even more broad term. It includes not only current active consumers, but also potential or future consumers or our competitors' consumers who we would like to win over. Today we're going to cover 5 big questions. What is buyer behavior? How people come to decision to buy something? How this decision can be laid out and mapped to track? And how different is purchase decisions made in online versus offline? And finally, what's the difference between how people buy things for themselves and how they do it for their companies and organizations? Buying behavior includes decision making when people need to decide to go to the store or go online, spend their time, effort, and break up with some hard-earned money to purchase our goods and services. This is why we always talk about putting our needs first. Remember that during our first meeting, I emphasized that marketing is all about making people happy and making money out of it. To make people happy, we should account for their individual differences. Not only obvious demographic differences such as age, gender, or nationality, ethnicity, but also for psychological differences such as personality traits. Some people more introvert or extrovert, and some people naturally much more active and energetic than others. Buying behavior is also influenced, first of all, by the amount of money people can spend, by their income, especially disposable income, and their education, and who they know, by their social connections and social capital they can use to acquire goods and services. And finally, it's influenced by contextual environmental factors, like a time of the day, amount of time available. If people don't have enough time and they make purchases in a rush on a flight, they make pretty different purchases, you know. There are 3 big elements that constitute human behavior. It's cognition, what people learn and what people think. The second big part is emotion, what people feel in their heart. And the behavior, what people do. Normally, we expect people to think first, analyze, collect information, and come to a certain decision, which ignites their emotion, makes them happy or unhappy. And then we expect them to go to the store and make a purchase. But sometimes it happens vice versa, upside down. The first big decision consumers make is about whether to make any purchase at all. Especially for service companies, the biggest competitor is not even their competitor, is the customer itself. As we learned during this pandemic, customers can go to a beauty salon and get a haircut. Or they can ask their wife to give them a haircut. Boom. They can take a ride to campus, or they can walk or ride their bike. Self-production is always an option in many industries. And first of all, we need to convince the customers that they actually need to purchase our product. Once again, marketers cannot create a new need, but they can reframe existing customers' needs and convince customers that their solution is the best response to this need. Other questions that customers need to offer is what, how, when, and where to purchase. Decision about timing is also very, very important. For example, I might know that I need a new car sometime, but whether to make this purchase this year or next year or the year after that, that's an open question. Solution to customers' needs may include products such as services, goods, or experiences, and even people. We need other people to solve our problems. Those who make the decision may be individual consumers, individual human beings, or families or households where several people interact with each other. And maybe the one who brings up the need to be satisfied and makes extensive research and explains to other family members why we need this particular vehicle or this particular device, it may be not the same person who pays for it, right? There are 5 big stages in consumer decision making when it comes to buying things. First of all, people come to realize that they need something. They realize it through subjectively experienced increase between their actual state, where they are, how they feel now, and desired state, ideal state, how they would like to feel, where they would like to be. There is certain difference always between our actual and ideal state, actual and ideal self. What matters is the change in this difference, increase or decrease between these two. For example, I'm driving my Toyota RAV4, pretty happy about it, but I might want a new car. It doesn't mean I'm gonna buy one. But at a certain point, I walk out of the house, jump into the car, and bam, it's broken. My actual state just got worse. Here, this is called need recognition or problem recognition. When the distance between ideal and actual state increases because actual state goes down. That's what happens when we're hungry. In our normal state, We feel okay, but then the sugar level in our blood and our level of energy goes down, and we realized we're hungry. But another way of framing it is an opportunity recognition. When the distance between actual and ideal state changes, because ideal state, possible, reachable, achievable, ideal state changes to better. That's what marketers try to achieve when they employ all the celebrities, all the beautiful people and luxury images in their advertising. They try to show customers how good they could be, how happy, how beautiful they could be if they were to buy. The second stage is collecting information about how to satisfy our needs. So-called information search. It includes internal search, search in memory. That's where it all starts. When we're hungry, we try to recall which places we know where we could go to eat. This tiny diner around the corner, or a food court in a big mall, or a restaurant downtown. We always start from internal search in our memory. This is why existing established businesses always have an advantage. They have a foot forward, foot in the door with consumers. Consumers already know them. And only if for some reason our already known alternatives cannot satisfy our need, we start external search, looking around, paying attention to advertising, asking our friends and families for recommendations, and eventually searching online on search engines such as Google. Sometimes search can be long and exhausting process, especially when it comes to technically complicated products which involve a lot of uncertainty, like buying a new computer. As long as we collected information about possible solutions, like about different models of laptops, we compare them on a certain important criteria, which is called evaluation criteria. For laptops, it can include weight, battery life, processing power, memory capacity. So there is always several evaluative criteria and weights adjusted to them. For some people, weight can be more important, like for me. And for others, screen brightness or battery life is more important. So all the alternatives get certain rating on each criteria, and this criteria gets weighted depending on the importance. This mental calculation happens simultaneously and instantly. People are pretty good at evaluating alternatives. As soon as they have decided which alternative is better, people go forward and make a purchase. And this is where they realize that the reality can be aligned or not aligned with their expectations. This is how consumers know whether they like what they purchased or not. We go to a bank to open a checking account. We have expectations how it would go. And then we realize that there is a long line, and we disappointed, we walk away. We buy a new device and expect to start using it right away, but we might realize that effectively using it involves a lot of learning first. The difference between expectation and reality leads to consumer satisfaction. This is how consumers realize whether they're satisfied and happy about that purchase. Three big forces that define consumer purchase behavior includes individual characteristics such as abilities, knowledge, what consumers can do, what they could buy, depends on what they know. Because value isn't just created by companies, it's co-created by consumers in use. For example, someone who cannot ski, doesn't know how to, is very unlikely to buy a pair of professional skis. They have no value for them. But the better you are at it, the more fun it is, as with all sports. Other individual characteristics includes attitudes, perceptions, how consumers see things, how they learn and think about them, and personality traits. Some people are high on frugality, what we call they're cheap. They try to save money and make only the most price sensitive or only the most price rational choices. But not all people are. Social influences from our loved ones, like family and important others, shape our decision making. And not only our immediate important ones. There are also people who we don't know personally, but we consider them an important example and we follow their lead. Like important celebrities and athletes. We watch a commercial which features our favorite basketball player. And we think, oh, if I wear these shoes, I'm gonna look this cool. I'm gonna be this athletic and attractive. Well, it's not always true, but this is where we'd like to be, right? These important people, which we treat as an example and follow, are called reference groups. And finally, there is our culture and social class. How we grew up, in which environment, how much we have in our childhood, shapes our behavior and decision making for life. What we like and dislike in terms of food, in terms of entertainment, is defined by our culture. Being raised up in Eastern Europe means I would prefer ice hockey and would never realize the value of baseball. And then situational factors, immediate context of decision making kicks in. When we choose a place to go eat, it's a very different decision when it happens in the afternoon, when it's time for lunch, and very different when it's a decision we make in the evening, when it's time for dinner. We have the same need. We're hungry, right? We have the same alternatives around us in our neighborhood. but the decision and the outcome is very different if in the at the lunchtime or at the evening. Not only temporal influences, but also dispositional variables like mood of happiness or fear play an important role. For example, it has been shown that the weather affects consumers' mood and decision making. People tend to spend more when it's sunny and bright outside, and the weather is hospitable, or at least habitable. And their mood goes dark and they spend much less when it's cloudy, rainy, or smoggy. The typical consumer's decision making, it's outlined the figure 2 covers these important steps down from need recognition to internal and external information search, evaluation of alternative based on our evaluative criteria and our beliefs about what's better. For example, we can think that amount of coffee in refreshment drinks is an important criteria. But we don't always know which drinks contain a lot of caffeine and which drinks contain less of it. It's all about beliefs. Some people believe that Chipotle is healthy eating. Is it? Then when we make a purchase, we evaluate post-purchase outcome, whether we're satisfied or dissatisfied, and whether we're gonna go and advocate for this person, share our impressions and our love for this product, for this brand, with our important ones. And then at a certain point, we come to dispose, to get rid of this product by throwing it away, or maybe by reselling it through Facebook Market or Craigslist. On the marketing side, these decision-making stages outlined as the marketing funnel. It all starts with awareness. No one's going to purchase our goods and services if they don't know about them. So we need to go out and spread the word to inform customers about us. It can be through billboard advertising or TV or display advertising on internet or PR events. There are different vehicles for building awareness, for getting people to know about us. The next stage, out from all consumers who ever heard about us, a smaller subset becomes interested in our product and they start searching and learning about us. For example, Googling about us. We could use tracking devices such as Google Trends to assess how many consumers Google us. And we can track social media conversation to realize how many consumers talk about us, mention our brand, ask and answer questions about us. And then even smaller subset of all consumers include our product into consideration when it comes to evaluation of alternatives. This is the third stage. Out from all possible alternatives, consumers create a small subset consideration set with only a few alternatives they are actually considering for purchase. This is one of the most important tasks for marketers, to get our solution to this consideration set through informational resources like case studies or success stories of our consumers, through social media influencers, through free trials. We can get consumers to try our product for free before purchasing it. Out from all consumers who consider our solution, a smaller subset of them would actually make a purchase. Notice how with each stage we have less and less consumers. This is true. All consumers who might share a certain need comprise our market, our target market. But not all of them know about us. Not all of them like us enough to even consider it. And out of all who would like to purchase from us, not everyone would actually make a purchase. And then out from everyone who tried us, even smaller subset of consumers would stay with us for longer, would make a repeat purchase, and would recommend us to their friends and family, would become our brand advocates and best advertisers.